Hello everybody. I just created this channel to fill a gap in the RC world that I've found recently. I just recently got back into RC after taking a long hiatus from it. And in doing so, I did like a lot of other people where I got on YouTube. I watched a lot of videos. There's a couple really good, there's a lot of people out there making videos and doing airplane reviews, and that is not the intent of this channel. The intent of this channel is also not to be, I don't want to spend a lot of time editing video, and it consumes a lot of my time. I have a full-time job and my time off is important to me. So this video is really just to go into the use of the hand launch assist, and what I found in trying to use it, my plane actually, we didn't activate it correctly the first time. There's not a lot of info out there on how to actually activate it and get it set up. There's some misinformation out there about hand launch assist. Every video that I've found, they tell you have it in flight mode 1 or with the airplane in safe. And the problem, I did get it set up that way, and it did work. It does work. However, what I noticed is that because it's in safe, that if you don't get it set up correctly and it's not active, then you don't have a ton of elevator or, primarily elevator, or aileron control. So I wanted to try to set it up in the either AS3X, flight mode that I had, or the AS3X off flight mode that I have set up in my transmitter. So I was able to do that. So all the videos that I have found say use it in flight mode 1 or safe mode with safe activated. And this video is just going to be really short. It's just going to basically show you in forward programming. There's actually 2 places that you have to make sure that it's turned on, and they have to talk to each other correctly. And then you can go into the settings and you can change, how many G's the airplane needs to see and how much throttle it needs to see and the amount of climb angle that you want the airplane to have. And I did modify those slightly. First couple rounds, out of the box with the hand launch assist, and it did not go well. And so I will say that I am thankful for eFlight, whom I am not affiliated with, by the way, and I'm not affiliated with anybody. And that's hence the name of the channel is just Regular Guy RC, but the trial and error. But I do like to figure things out, and I enjoy building, sometimes repairing, and I enjoy modifying my airplanes. And I'll be making another video later of where I modified the Sportix a little bit and I think a lot of people will like what the mod I did to the Sportix. It improves its ground handling. Really, that's all I did. It's just minor tweaks, but not to get sidetracked from this video. This video is really just to help people just understand the hand launch assist and be able to use it. So based on a video I had watched, I've always wanted a P-51 Mustang. I've never bought one because of their high wing loading. They're harder to land. You got to land them with some speed. It's very common to see a P-51 bounce on landing, even with really good pilots, even the plane that I have. But it's terms of flyability and being docile, I would say this is a really amazing flying airplane. It is a ton of fun. I did give it more elevator and more rudder. Pretty much I used Model Aviator, Adam from Model Aviator. Love his videos. Him and John from Two Brothers RC both, but I watched both of those guys a lot. But Adam from Model Aviator went in and I did my elevator and rudder exactly like he did by moving I believe it was moving the rod out one hole on the control arm, on the servo. And because I like to hook my planes around, not what I would call a good pilot even. I'm okay. But I like to hook them around, and I like to have a little bit more authority. So like my extra 300, it's got max throws on it, and I don't like it. And then when I want a little more sport flying, I just have it on a different switch and I turn down the rates but now, without continuing to ramble on, I'm going to go ahead and show you the transmitter setup so that you do understand the two things you have to do. It's not one activation, it's actually two, and they have to be the same and talk to each other. If they don't, when you let go of that airplane, if you don't get on that elevator really quickly, it is going to mow the grass if the gear is not on. If the gear is on, it might break the gear off. I did it with the gear off because I bought the P51 from E-Flight. Pretty much this one, and you can see the messy table. This is my workbench. My wife loves it. Actually, no, she doesn't really, but she's very gracious about it. But I bought the E-Flight P51 1.0 for the whole purpose of removing the gear and doing better lands. I like to fly this airplane in a park about 7 minutes from the house. And that was the whole purpose of this airplane. And to have something that my son really loves, P-51s. He's flying an Apprentice right now. And he really kept talking about P-51 Mustangs. And most of the ones, when they get bigger and have retracts and flaps and they get really heavy and they have, like I said, a really high wing loading, they're not as forgiving. And after watching Adam's video on this airplane and seeing him talking about how forgiving it was, I took a chance on it, and I'm glad I did. It's great. First hand launch though, it mowed the grass. Third hand launch, it mowed the grass again. And then I figured it out. So the plane is actually really durable. So it didn't, of course, you cut the throttle as soon as you can see it's going into the dirt and not flying level and straight. And, and we could have probably, the second time we didn't mow the grass because we, saved it with the thumb, but it's like, it didn't work. It doesn't take off on its own. I didn't really know what to expect. It was my first experience with hand launch assist. And really, this is just this video is to correct that some people say, everybody I've seen says it's got to be in safe, and no, it does not. It can be an AS3X or even no AS3X. It really is dependent on the flight mode. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the transmitter setup. Inactivity. I know it. Okay, so as you know, you have to have the airplane on, and you have to have it throttle cut on to be able to go into forward programming. And just back all the way up. Forward programming, your gyro settings, and you have the two places you're gonna mess with this is gonna be in F mode setup and system setup. And I know this is an IX14. In most of the videos I see people using the NX10. So NX10 Plus or an NX version of the radio. So anyway, system setup is one location, and you'll see down here hand launch assist. And it'll be right here, and this is where you will actually select your different flight modes. So flight mode 1, which I have on switch B, is safe. Flight mode 3 is my AS3X setting. And I've got it at 0.75 G. I'm gonna put that back up to 1 G. I left the factory setting at 70% throttle threshold, and I upped it from 2 seconds to 3 seconds, and I left the factory setting of pitch offset at 10 degrees. I'm really, because if I'm launching, I like to launch this overhand, and when I just really kind of want it to kind of just hold its path until it give me enough time to get to the stick, the elevator stick. The other place you're going to mess with this is going to be in your flight mode setup. So here is your AS3X is active. There's your hand launch assist, activate. It was inhibit like that when I first tried. And so in the very beginning, this is all I saw. And so I came in here to flight mode setup. I was in flight mode 1, of course, but regardless, I came in here and hit activate, and I thought the hand launch assist was activated. And that's when I attempted to fly the airplane, and it mowed the grass. So it only through continual, and that's when I found that system setup. It also has, you go to the second page on there, nope, hand launch assist. And that's where this was inhibited as well. And that's why my hand launch assist was not working. I watched another video last night where a guy had done this, and he had it on flight mode 1, and his airplane was not hand launch assisting. But in flight mode 2, it was working. And I don't know why they weren't talking to each other, but the point is you have to have hand launch assist here activated with, not inhibited, but whatever flight mode you decide you want it in. And you have to go into flight mode setup, whatever switch, and then you have to push the activate from inhibit. Once those two things are on, and you have all of the parameters that you want it to have in here, you are now ready to attempt to use the hand launch assist. And it has to see all these parameters. So I was thinking that there's a possibility that if you use it in flight mode 3, where you fly around a lot using your AS3X, and it sees a G, or if you lower it down to half a G, that you, in theory, could be activating hand launch assist by the airplane seeing a G or half a G through a turn, and you're at, say, 100% throttle. It technically would activate if it sees that. I'm not actually sure if it's just a G in that way, or just any kind of, if the receiver detects a G in any direction. There's not a lot of data on that, and whether that is the way it works, but it really doesn't matter, because the hand launch assist can be overridden. It's not like it doesn't lock the airplane in and you can't touch the stick, or you can't control the airplane until it deactivates at whatever seconds, whatever duration you set it at. In fact, you can override the hand launch assist with stick input. So it doesn't really bother me. I haven't seen an adverse effect with having it on a different flight mode. The advantage to having it on a different flight mode is the fact that you will have more elevator and rudder control, and you don't have to flip it out of safe. I have safe on a couple of my airplanes, but I don't like it for flying it around. I put it on there and keep it on there for the reason that John from Two Brothers RC says. If he has a bug landing on his face or something, you need to wipe it, shoo it away, or you have an itch you need to scratch, or you want to hand the radio off to somebody and you get it in level flight, you flip the switch to safe and 50%, 60% throttle where it's just kind of cruising along, you want to hand the radio off. It makes it easy to do those kinds of things. But as far as flying it around in safe, I don't enjoy it. In fact, it messes me up because I'm so used to having a lot more throw on my inputs and the airplane reacting differently. So if I fly it around in safe and I do that a little bit, the very first time I kick it off and try to go, I usually end up rolling too fast, or having a much more dramatic maneuver than what I was really anticipating. As an example, the Sportix in safe, it requires almost full aileron deflection in order to get it to turn. It depends on the space you're flying in, of course. How much room do you have to, but I don't like it. I want to have control of my airplane to do exactly what I need it to do, what I want it to do, immediately. And I use safe as if I just need to take my hands off the sticks for just a second. So it's nice like that. That was the whole point of this video, was just to kind of correct the fact that it doesn't need to be in safe in order to use the hand launch assist, and you need to activate it in 2 different places in order for it to work properly. My airplane didn't get hurt and put maybe a little wrinkle in the wing, but it really didn't get adversely affected by mowing the grass 15, 20 feet from where I was. It wasn't fun though. Brand new airplane, and then it had been trimmed in. I flew it first, trimmed it all in. Then I decided to try the hand launch assist, because the whole point of me having a P-51 was without the landing gear and being able to grass land this airplane, and it just looked so pretty without the gear on it. So it wasn't really fun, and if I could save anybody from the experience of potentially being, or they may not have the same outcome that I had, and you may damage your airplane or break a propeller, and then you have to wait to get another one. So if I could save anybody that was the goal of this video, and I hope it helps you. And other than that, I hope everybody has a good day. I will come back with another video with the modification that I did make to the Sportix. I think a lot of people will like that too. If you have, just small basic hand tool skills, you can modify that airplane as well and improve that airplane a lot. So in terms of its ground handling. And with that, talk to y'all later.